back to another Uninformed Movie Reviews podcast. It's us. And that's about as far as I'm going to go with it.
That's pretty good, David. Thank you. Quite Texas of you,
that's my best accent I have.
That's the game of Dallas.
Yeah, you know what?
We're talking about Texas movies today.
Yeehaw.
And with us we have notable Senator Ted Cruz.
Why don't you come on in, Ted?
I am not a crook. But I did. Oh no, that's Nixon.
Yeah. That's a different era of politics altogether.
I did not let Donald Trump walk outside of his house with clean boots.
I'm glad I'm not the one that brought in with the Ted Cruz.
Well, you have to. He's synonymous.
I love it.
Well, why don't we boot scoot boogie into the main segment here. Today we have another entry into beloved segment. Our quest to find out our favorite movie of all time, at least up until this point. Obviously, there are movies that haven't come out yet that we haven't gotten around to seeing, or movies that have come out that we just haven't seen yet.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
I
believe you.
Yeah.
it's tough.
So on the goal to find out what our favorite movie is, today's super specific topic that we'll have a winner and a runner-up to, which is second place, are the most Texan movies, which in this case I think could be set in Texas, but also feel like Texas. I think that's a pretty good criteria.
I accept that.
Is that the criteria?
I think so. Like
has the essence of Texas.
Being in Texas gives it extra points, obviously.
Sure.
But at the very least, if it, feels like Texas. I don't know.
So like Starship Troopers?
Well,
they're shooting guns.
I don't know if that's one. I could see a great argument for that.
Hold on, I gotta change my notes really quick.
Okay, well, I'm gonna kick it to one of you. Let's go with Danny.
I was so excited to see what was gonna happen.
Why don't you give us your runner-up, Danny?
All right, well, let's give it a shot here.
And the podcast has officially begun.
I didn't bring anything.
Oh no, I got it on my MacBook. not a sponsor, but hit me up.
That's a high one. That's a
shooting for the stars there.
No.
Yeah, Apple just doles out sponsorships, don't they? So for my runner-up, I'd like to go with 2015 by Denis Villeneuve, Sicario.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a real fun movie. A real fun time about drugs and people dying and border problems. Set in El Paso, for the most part. Also filmed in El Paso.
You get a little bit of Mexico in there as well.
Filmed. I think some parts were filmed in Juarez. I think some parts were filmed throughout like Del Rio, Texas, and parts of New Mexico as well. Starring Emily Blunt, Josh Brolin, and Benicio del Toro. For those of you who haven't seen, Sicario is an American neo-Western action thriller film by Denis Villeneuve. Film follows a principled FBI agent who is enlisted by a government task force to bring down the leader of a powerful and brutal Mexican drug cartel. And it's a romp. It's good. It's one of those movies that kind of has like persistent dread throughout the entire movie. You know what I mean? The
tension is really good.
Yeah, and it's not just like a boiling point. It just kind of like is a slow turning screw for the entire movie. And I guess there's definitely a climax near the end, but it's like for the majority, there's such a heavy overtone for the movie. And that kind of goes in like the photography also, where it's like, I don't know what the word would be. Like it's a little grainy and like overall look of the film.
Like gritty.
It's gritty and it's like desaturated.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes. It's also one of those films where the sequel is not as good.
Yeah, that's true. Day of the Soledad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even know there was a sequel.
Yeah, it's good, and I think it's mostly focused on Benicio del Toro, and then Josh Brolin is in it too. But I thought it was good. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't touch the original. Super awesome movie. Real tight action. Good acting. Real great acting. I think it's an accurate depiction of like, if you get like those sweet watching vibes from like Breaking Bad on the whole DEA stuff that they do, you would really enjoy watching this movie. This is particularly more so a West Texas film, I would imagine.
Yes, out in a West Texas town of El Paso.
The best Texas. I've never seen this, and it just seems like something I'd really enjoy.
Dude, it's a good watch.
All the names in here are great. These are great names in here.
Solid crime film, solid action film. It also highlights a problem in an era that I think really shaped our upbringing.
Yeah.
It is a huge tradition in El Paso for high schoolers to go over to Juarez and then get drunk real cheap.
Yeah.
A tradition we missed out on because people were getting their heads lopped off left and right when we were coming up.
I got there right at the end. Right when I was graduating high school. Mom, I didn't do that, if you were listening.
I was going to say.
Yeah. 2008. That's when things got real bad. But then it was also real good because it was like 10-cent beers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy nights.
Good old drink and drown.
Wow.
I think the drinking age is 16, 18. Anyways, super fun. Don't go there, kids.
The drinking age is, do you have cash?
Yeah, essentially. $18. That being said, yeah, I think especially for when it came out, it definitely shed light on something that wasn't thought about for the rest of the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And really shows how the DEA and Mexican cartels and even the Mexican government all have to get in bed together really to do anything.
I don't remember that scene. Was that in the director's cut?
Yeah, I did announce Emily Blunt and Josh Brolin. But yeah, it's a super awesome watch, and I enjoyed it. So that's my runner-up.
That's a good one, Danny. I gotta say that's one I didn't think of when I was whittling down my list.
I'm gonna have to watch this. Yeah,
definitely
I'm definitely gonna check this out. This looks delightful. Delightful in that particular kind of way.
You do love the depressing and dark.
Yeah,
you'll love it.
I love me a good crime film.
Seems right up your alley.
Well, Frank, why don't you carry us on over?
Oh, I will, David. I will. For my runner-up, most Texas film, I have 1997's Selena. All right. I gotta be careful with these copyright flags.
This was floating up in an honorable mention for me, this for sure.
Honestly, when we set out to do this one, we decided what this week's episode was going to be. I was like, well, I'm talking about Selena.
I was going to say someone's going to mention Salinas.
I am the one true stat daddy, so we're going to jump right into some numbers here. Selena's got a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb with a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes. With its 127-minute runtime, this film was made on a budget of $20 million with an opening weekend of $11,615,000, worldwide grossing $35,281,794. Pretty good.
You know what? Yeah. Another stat is at 127 minutes. That means it is just about over the halfway mark of the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, that is about right.
And a much better movie. Wow. And I haven't even seen the Snyder Cut.
Selena was written and directed by Gregory Nava and tells the story of Selena Quintanilla's rise to the status of a pop icon and her untimely demise. Very Texas movie because it's set a whole bunch in Texas. It also has a really similar vibe to Friday Night Lights in the regard of Abraham, the stage father who lives vicariously through his children as he attempts a second chance of making it in the biz, and that's showbiz. You got
that Edward James almost energy, baby.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure somewhere in there Selena learns calculus or something like that. I was watching it today, but I was also typing notes, so
a
little fuzzy there.
These kids.
Yeah, just band practice every night trying to reach these kids. Tons of lighthearted, funny moments, even though there's a super tragic ending to this movie, and it's coming the whole time.
Yeah, what's
his name?
Oh, we'll get there.
Is it a spoiler? Or?
But yeah, it follows. It does some non-linear storytelling in that it kind of starts at the very end and then picks up at the end. You jump to Abraham's failed music career, some delightful doo-wop harmonies. And then you follow her on her journey of being a little girl and her siblings not wanting to play in a band at all, to them performing different fairs and campgrounds and stuff like that, all the way up to her becoming the sensation that she was before she was unfortunately shot by Yolanda, the head of her fan club. Yeesh.
Oof. Something about those failed musician dads just really makes it the second time, you know?
Yeah,
look at that guy. Look at like the Jackson 5.
For reals.
Something about abuse just really gets it going.
Does she ever do anything else?
Yolanda,
is she acting anywhere else?
Like the actor who played Yolanda?
No, she's hated.
I was going to say, is it one of those situations?
She has like trouble in her personal life because people hate her.
That sucks.
It really does suck.
But it speaks a little bit to like her acting, I guess,
Yeah,
or just like an unfortunate career choice.
Just a little editor's note. That would be a fun podcast for UMR, just finding actors who have had real tough times.
That would be a great one.
And their movies.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to remember that.
By roles.
Dude, we're gonna have to jot that down. That is actually a really good idea. Coming to you soon on a dearly beloved podcast. This podcast. Some of the other reasons I chose this one as the most Texas film, or the runner-up rather, besides it being featured around Tejano music and largely taking place in Texas. Just some things I noticed while I was watching it. What's more Texas than driving vast stretches of desolate roads between scattered populated areas throughout Texas, or even, a road trip to California? That's a very Texas thing.
Both will take the same time.
Couple of notes besides the movie. Selena was actually just awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Grammys, which finally acknowledged that the queen of Tejano music, as she's referred to, her influence reached far beyond this niche genre. She played a lot into like pop culture and the style of the time. She was also an accomplished
she has a lot of songs in English too.
Well, she was working on her English crossover album and doing that tour when she was murdered at this motel. Oh my God.
Of you
Bangers.
Come tomorrow.
Also like a real emotional movie, honestly.
Oh, it's a great
There's so
movie.
many parts. There's a few melodramatic moments. I will be honest about that. Another gripe I had with the movie is like the way it suddenly ends. It just ends real quick. Like Selena
then Yolanda
dies.
shot her.
Yeah, Yolanda shot her. There was a standoff in the car, and then we're gonna play this little slideshow really quick. Roll credits.
Dang,
Which is
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot that happened too.
in like 127 minutes, I feel like you could have trimmed a little bit of fat and done a little bit of like after the fact, you know what I mean? We could have done something a little bit more fun in the end, which is why we get the runner-up position instead of my top position. And my top is honestly like a banger. So, but we're not there yet.
What a tease.
Yeah, right. We'll get there.
Arguably my favorite Jennifer Lopez movie.
It's better than Jiggly.
Okay. Look, I don't even know what the name of this movie is, but it's like Jennifer Lopez is in some abusive relationship. Is it enough?
Enough. It is enough.
I was watching
really
a little
good.
bit of that with Michelle. I just like walked in the last like 20 minutes and I was like, this movie's insane. What is going on in this movie?
Ooh.
It is pretty crazy.
She was like, you should watch the whole
also,
thing.
Anaconda's pretty good.
Anaconda is pretty good.
Dang.
All right, man. Okay, so
Teaching
arguably,
J-Lo
yeah.
movies. There's another podcast idea.
So this movie came out in 1997. Selena died in 1995.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a
so
really
I was
quick
like,
turnaround.
I was like 4 years old when Selena had already passed. So like in my head, coming up as a child, like J-Lo was Selena. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really funny when you make that switch, entering like into, it's probably happened like middle school, high school, when I was like, oh yeah, this is Selena.
I'm just gonna put this out there, opinionated. Selena is much hotter than J-Lo.
Yeah, you know what? I think Selena seems more attractive to us because Selena seems like somebody we like went to high school with. You know what I mean? Versus Jenny from the block. Not our block.
Not our block.
Not this block. Man, I forgot what I was about to say. I was just about to say it. Sorry, my throat's all messed up. Seasonal allergies and asthma. It is crazy windy in El Paso
It's comical
right now.
here right now. It's like a Star Wars scene.
Straight up.
Yeah, like most of the day
Yeah.
was orange today.
Yeah.
It was a very weird vibe.
It's just in the air everywhere.
Somebody was playing with the color correction. some other fun notes regarding Selena True Life. Notorious warmonger, puppet president, and child leave behind her, George Bush, declared April 16th,
Nice.
Selena, which is Selena's birthday, Selena Day in the state of Texas.
Wow, one of the few best things he's ever done.
Yeah,
Man, we were taking shots today. I'm loving it. I haven't done anything. You guys are just sniping over here.
No, but he's so cute. Come on. He paints dogs.
Aw,
Give him a break.
never forget, we almost lost our president to a pretzel at one time.
We're also in a forever war because of him and his dad. So
Ongoing forever. But this was actually a pretty controversial decision. Like a lot of people were really upset about it because it like ended up falling on Easter that year, and people were pissed. They were like, why are we celebrating this brown girl when we should be celebrating the death and rising of our Lord Jesus Christ?
It must be the white people.
You know it was the white people.
You know, as Mexicans, we're just like, well, Selena.
It was really cool. There was like...
Why not do both?
Because both, yeah.
There was like a letter to the editor war going on with like opposing opinions and stuff. It was really interesting to read about. But all things said, very pleasant watch. If you grew up in Texas, you grew up with a little bit of Selena's music.
Yeah.
Even our white friends know Selena.
George Bush said it himself. Selena represents the essence of South Texas culture.
Wow.
Which I think is a really good way to put it from a man who rarely speaks
criminal.
well. Yeah.
Notable idiot.
Wow. Yeah, I just gotta say, would make a great movie pairing or like a double feature with La Bamba. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. Just get real
Blue
sad.
Diamond Phillips, right?
Yeah.
I think another reason this movie feels so emotional to me, I always get really like down about really talented artists that I'll never get the chance to see. Like, like Freddie
Michael
Mercury
Jackson.
live performances and stuff like that. Like, oh God, it hits me right in the gut, honestly.
Some of them had so many more years, you know what I mean?
So many more.
So many more.
And it's kind of sad is just to note that they tried doing that drama series of Selena.
Yeah, I was going to
Netflix.
ask you guys, have you checked it out?
I've heard it's terrible. I haven't seen it.
I have
personally.
not.
With,
I've seen it as well.
The girl from Ned's Declassified.
From Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's who they got?
Yeah.
What was her name? From Walking Dead? What character did she play?
Joaquin's dad?
Joaquin's Dead.
Oh my gosh. I can't
She
remember
was
her name.
Abraham's
Abraham
honey?
and Rosita.
Rosita. That's it. It's got a 6.6
Well,
out of
there's
10.
a connection there with Abraham.
Oh, on IMDb, 6.6
Abraham
out of 10.
Quintanilla.
That one has a 2.6 audience rating out of 5.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's a lot of hate on it.
Doesn't seem great.
But you know what? I feel like it would be interesting to watch both of them, I think. Because maybe there's a little bit of nostalgia behind the 90s one, but I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I'd imagine it's still really, really good. Did you rewatch it right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
And is it still...
Loved it.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think, like as a kid, I didn't notice like how they dropped the ball at the ending, which I obviously picked up today. Today was the rewatch, so it's fresh in my mind. But I thoroughly enjoyed that watch, man.
Okay.
I'll watch
Crazy
it
that
again
you
at some
named
point.
this too, because apparently Selena died on March 31st.
No way.
1995.
Wow, I
Right
totally
around
planned
there.
that out. I do due diligence and make my decisions accordingly.
Check that out. She's going to be Yolanda Saldivar will be eligible for parole in 2025.
Lame.
Yeah,
Also,
that ain't going to happen.
Not so fun fact, I found out that in the early 2000s, there was a judge that ordered the revolver used in the killings to be destroyed. They cut it up into bits and then threw it in to the ocean in Corpus Christi, which is a weird move. Like,
Strange.
Why litter
put
at
that
that
thing
point?
in a, don't mess with Texas.
Yeah, don't mess with
Unless
Texas.
you're Texas, apparently.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Actually, in like one of the first scenes, like, and you know what? I should say this too because I thought it was really funny. Like, the whole reason like Abraham's career didn't take off was because he was singing like American rock music, but he was like a Mexican American and in a very racist time in Texas. You know what I mean?
What?
So he was not getting hired. There's a scene where he like rips up this check from like this guy who refused to audition them. He like gave him $10 for like gas money and he rips it up and throws it. And I thought, whoa, bro, don't mess with Texas. What are you doing? Like straight in. But there's one of the big themes that runs through is like the struggle of being a Mexican American, like in the Tejana community, like the struggle of like not speaking English with an accent, but also not having an accent like to your Spanish, like having to be equal parts Mexican and American and constantly trying to prove yourself to like both camps, which is something in retail on the border I face all the time with my broken Spanish.
Yeah.
And it's honestly super annoying. So there were a few times where like I got my blood boiling a little bit. I was like, yeah,
I know that feel.
Yeah.
Viva.
Very familiar with that. Well, great pick, Frank.
Thank you.
Yeehaw!
All right, I guess it's over to me. Here we go. Here's my runner-up, everybody. My runner-up is 2004's Friday Night Lights.
I knew it.
Nice.
I was hoping you would do that.
I have a runner-up. I'm not going to talk about it yet, just in case you guys picked it. You know what I mean? I'd rather
a runner-up.
Spoil it. Yeah. There was a bit of a. You know.
I got a couple honorable mentions.
Yeah, so we'll save that for later. But Friday Night Lights. This is a weird pick for me because I just don't like sports movies.
But you do like a sad ending.
Yes, but I love a sad ending. This is a perfect example of how a genre can surprise you. That's just all I have to say.
This is your favorite sports movie, is it not?
Okay, well,
or is it D2? Next to D2.
He actually prefers Bend It Like Beckham.
You know,
where they bend it.
I really like. I really like this one. This one's really cheesy. I really like Miracle, the hockey one, with Kurt Russell.
I don't know if I've seen that.
You know what? That's not even my favorite hockey movie.
I know. It's really bad.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that one in a bad way. You know what I mean? Intentionally bad. But I don't know. I don't really like sports movies. This is just a weird one.
I mean, in Miracle's defense, any chance to chant USA, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And especially against Russians. It just feels so right. Whenever it's USA versus Russia.
USA.
What I like about Friday Night Lights, though, is there's no like kind of bogus happiness that they inject in sports movies that I'm always complaining about.
You're referring to Remember the Titans.
You know, I didn't say it.
Yeah.
I didn't say it.
I just know this from our many discussions / arguments.
But it's just so much like...
Just bloating it.
Like they might as well be saying out loud, like, we are actively bonding. Like, I feel closer to you as a person, and I have your back.
You know what? I don't mind it and Remember the Titans, but I cannot watch We Are Marshall.
Oh,
Too
yeah.
gushy.
Gosh.
Yeah, to a certain limit, like, there's a spectrum of those. Mm-hmm. We should do an episode where we watch, like, 10 football movies and create a graph of where they're at on the spectrum of...
Oh, man.
As long as we include Little Giants some game.
Oh, yeah.
And what's the Replacements?
Oh,
The
Replacements is good.
That's a good movie.
For playoffs, we'll have a footbll movie playoffs.
That sounds
fun.
good. That sounds
That would
good.
actually be pretty cool.
Ooh, this is how you schedule on the
We're
fly.
getting a lot of ideas here today. We're going to write these down.
We're doing better here, like live on the podcast, than we do in our production.
We're like sitting there.
Yeah, those go nowhere. So in this movie, we have a cast, like in most movies, and heading the cast is Billy Bob Thornton, who I think does a great job. He's the coach in this movie.
He's really good at like disenfranchisement.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Better coach in this one than he is in Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
It's weird how like some people repeat a role, you know what I mean? That's a perfect example. Ugh. All this dust.
Wet that whistle, David.
We also have a Garrett Hedlund, who's in a few other things. He was in that adaptation of On the Road, and he was in the Tron reboot. He's in Four Brothers. He's the brother who dies. Spoiler alert.
I love that movie.
That's a good movie, man.
Oh, man.
We just need to figure out a reason to do Four Brothers.
Favorite movies about brothers.
Yeah, there we go. Is there a National Brothers Day? But anyway, one person who's in this movie though that really surprises me is Tim McGraw, which is so weird.
That's good. Texas.
Yeah, there's like a country. The country actors are always in movies for some reason. Like Dwight Yoakam's in a bunch of things.
Is he a bitter dad?
Yeah, he's the bitter drunk dad.
Dwight Yoakam is the mayor in Eight-Legged Freaks too.
Oh, is he really?
He is.
Man, I haven't seen that movie in such a long time.
That's a great movie.
I love Dwight Yoakam in Wilfred. Obviously, he's like so good in that show. He's so mysterious.
Dwight Yoakam's dope.
Yeah, but Tim McGraw is so aggressive and convincing in this role. Yeah. It's really cool. There's some really cool stuff they do in this movie too, with like the way that it's shot, where things are higher production value when it's a football scene. When they're just chatting with each other, it's like a bunch of shaky cam stuff. But when it comes to like, them actually playing, everything steps up in production value. Like this is what matters.
Yeah, it makes sense thematically. That's what they're working for. Yeah. To be under those Friday night lights.
Yes, exactly.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's really good. And just I don't know, it shows that Texas attitude, which I don't think we have as much of in El Paso. People don't take it.
Too many high schools. They split up the talent too much. It's a big problem, you know.
If there were less high schools, it could be a lot more competitive. But it's definitely a Texas attitude.
Definitely. Oh, football? Yeah, high school football.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you unfamiliar with Texas's love for football, it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
In niche too. Like I mean, little areas in El Paso, I guess. You know, because there was always a side of town kind of thing, east side versus west side.
Yeah, there's a couple schools that do take it really seriously.
Yeah. East, what was it? The one your cousin went to, Frank?
Eastwood.
Eastwood versus Franklin all the time.
Yeah. The Franklin Coronado West Side Bowl game's always fun. You see a lot of rumbles going down in the stands. It's always a good time.
Montwood and someone else too. Either way.
There's actually so in this movie, it's the football team is from Permian, Permian Basin, and they end up going to the playoffs. And there's a scene where it shows the bracket, and this is a true story. So in the bracket, Hanks is actually on there.
Hey,
like from El Paso, because we're just so close by. Really, they're like probably the next.
Was it in Lubbock or was it in Laredo? I think it was Laredo. I'm not sure.
Where Permian Basin is?
Yeah.
I think it is called Permian. I'm pretty sure is the name of it. It's right outside of Odessa.
Odessa, that's where I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, Odessa. Nailed it.
There's also the soundtrack is an original score by Explosions in the Sky.
Oh, really? That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
I did not know that.
It is so it's when you watch it now, you definitely, you feel it. It's so noticeable.
That soundtrack feels like a slow Texas night.
Yeah. It's just good stuff. Also, just the accents are so believable. All the people in this movie. You've met them before. Mm-hmm. If you live in Texas, anyway.
But, Explosions in the Sky is from Midland.
Really?
And Austin.
This is a very Texas episode we're having here, folks.
Yeah, yeehaw. I'm so stoked. But yeah, this is great. I just, I think it's just so real. That's what I like about it.
And you know what?
How real it feels.
Friday Night Lights has a great example of something I love seeing in films, and that's a good old-fashioned man cry. When Boobie Miles finds out that his knee is wrecked, which is something I understand.
Why is that, Frank?
I still haven't gotten a hold of this walking and running thing. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I got through it successfully this time, but sometimes I have trouble getting through that scene without tearing up a little bit. It's just so intense.
Life is over.
That actor does a great job of conveying this was his life's goal. It was the only thing he worked at. This kid wasn't paying attention in school. He was planning to float straight to a career in the NFL, and it's all this dude's gonna work in the oil fields now. You know what I mean? Which is nothing wrong with that.
Still
but
a good living.
It's not as fun as being in the NFL.
Yeah.
Not as good a living.
When you have one plan that you dedicated everything to. Ooh.
That's why I say don't plan. No plans at all.
So crushing.
Don't put all your knees in one basket.
True. Oh no. Okay, we should pass this on. This should go to Danny.
Oh, great pick, David.
Fun little tidbit before we move on.
Oh, of course.
I had breakfast with Explosions in the Sky once.
I feel like I know this. What was the situation here?
We were recording at Sonic Ranch, my previous band, for a weekend, and they happened to be there in one of the other studios. And there's a communal breakfast kitchen in Sonic Ranch. Well, there's a couple, but some of the bands will just go there and have the abuelitas make them breakfast and stuff, and it's fantastic.
Was the raccoon there?
The raccoon was there, Geronimo.
Sick.
Yeah.
What year was this?
This was 2010, maybe.
Oh, okay.
2010. I just remember walking into the breakfast hall and struck up a conversation with someone, and there's we're in Explosions in the Sky, we're recording over here, and I was like,
That's so cool.
They're really nice guys.
You got to remember that for the next time we play monikers. Get yourself that first round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and just totally randomly, but a band worth checking out if you're hearing us say Explosions in the Sky and you're like, what is this? What are they talking about?
We're talking about chemtrails, y'all.
Texas music.
Good stuff, especially if you're going through that high school shoegaze phase.
Okay. So what's your number one, Danny?
My number one. I'm sure y'all can probably guess it. It is Cormac McCarthy's No Country for Old Men.
All right, let's tag team this thing, Danny.
Yeah. Oh. Yes.
I like that you picked 2 Josh Brolin films.
Dude, that just happens.
Happens sometimes.
Also, Josh Brolin in this movie looks just like Cormac McCarthy did in the release of one of his books. It's really funny. It's really weird.
It's super strange.
I'm just going to interject that here really quick.
I mean, this is a fantastic Coen Brothers movie.
Oh yeah, I always forget this is Coen Brothers.
Yeah,
it's very dark.
It's very Coen Brothers.
It's not as funny though, is it? I don't remember.
There's barely any humor.
There's any of the humor is really like dry, you
situational.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it's like the Texasisms that Tommy Lee Jones like gets out.
Because even some of the darker ones are still really funny. But yeah, No Country for Old Men.
It's for those who have never seen it. No Country for Old Men is a 2007 American neo-Western crime thriller, just like my last film, written and directed by Joel and Ethan Coen, based off of Cormac McCarthy's 2005 novel of the same name. Cormac McCarthy being an amazing author from all such as Blood Meridian, All the Pretty Horses, The Road.
Yeah, man.
And No Country for Old Men, starring Tommy Lee Jones, Josh Brolin, and Javier Bardem. It follows a Texas welder and Vietnam War veteran in the desert landscape of 1980s West Texas. The film revisits the themes of fate, conscience, and circumstance that the Coen brothers had explored in the films Blood Simple, Raising Arizona, and Fargo. Didn't know that. However, I mean, a simple plot for it is, a regular dude stumble upon
something that he shouldn't have.
Yeah, something he shouldn't have, and someone's looking for it, and he'll kill anyone to get it back.
Oh yeah. Quick numbers jump here. We got an 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb and a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow. This is almost as perfect of a movie as I can imagine.
I have no complaints with this film.
What do you guys think about the ending?
I love it.
I love the ending.
Yeah.
Really?
That situation played out exactly how that situation would play out IRL. You know what I mean?
I remember.
You don't take the cartel's money.
I remember the ending being so controversial about just the sudden, like the conversation just gets like stopped. I think it's so cool though.
It's awesome.
I love it.
It subverts your expectation, and it's just, I don't know, man. I mean, it's filmed so beautifully, like the big wide open shots, even especially in the beginning. I think it's around Marfa or something like that, where he's ranching.
Yeah, they filmed outside Marfa and outside Sanderson.
Yeah, and they filmed a little bit in Las Vegas, New Mexico, particularly the town square scene where he rents that hotel and he like shoots him out of the window. I don't know if you remember that. He uses his little like sheep killer to get to the doorknob, and then he tries to shoot him with the shotgun. And like Tommy Lee Jones, or Josh Brolin, right, jumps out the window, and like it's in that town square. Anyways, in that town square, I stayed in that hotel where they were at.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah,
yeah.
It's the hotel where he hides it up in the vent, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool.
This is another one where like the tension is there all the way through. You know what I mean? Even and it's got that slow Texas pace. You know what I mean? It's got all these like Texas. I don't even know if they're specifically Texas, but it's a very Texas thing to constantly be telling like tangential stories and using idioms for everything and things that like just don't seem to make a lot of sense. Like these weird metaphors and stuff like that, especially from Tommy Lee Jones, who's playing like this aged sheriff, who is a bona fide Texan, might I add.
I love when they go into, I don't know, it's not Juarez, it might be Juarez or something like that. But then Anton Chigurh is still chasing him, and they get in a shootout, and he goes into like the pharmacy, and he just starts taking everything, and it's just such an awesome. The whole movie, it's like one of those movies you can put on. And if you're watching it with friends and something, like no one's gonna talk. They're just gonna watch that movie, you know.
Oh, and let's not forget the fantastic Woody Harrelson, who plays a pretty small role, but plays the hell out of it.
This is tell me if I'm getting this wrong, because it's been a while since I've seen this movie, but isn't this a movie that doesn't have a soundtrack? Like, there's no music at all. There's no score.
Hardly.
You know what? I didn't notice while I was watching it, but now that I think about it, I don't really remember any music.
I think it's one of like the few movies that has no score.
You get a lot of that, like you get the like open West Texas sounds of like the cicadas like chirping in the heat and stuff like that.
You're right.
You get trains passing in the distance.
It's very minimalist on purpose from the Coens. It said using sound sculptures more so, using things like metal bells, singing bowls, like just other Foley rather than an actual score.
That's really interesting. That's a cool way to do it.
Besides the like obvious Texas setting, there's some pretty like Texas things, including surprise mariachis, which that'll happen. You know what I mean? Also traveling across the border for affordable, discreet healthcare. Yep. Very Texas move.
Very Texas.
Yes, I've been there.
Another fun thing I want to point out is like the thing that kicks off this whole story of Llewellyn Moss like tracking this pronghorn, coming across this scene. He finds like some pretty sweet trucks riddled with bullet holes, a man getting ready to knock on heaven's door. But the day isn't a total loss because he leaves the spot with an MP5, a shiny new 1911, and a briefcase filled with cold hard cash, which is an event.
They never really say how much. Huh?
No, it's just like filled to the top with stacks of $100 bills. So you gotta imagine.
You gotta imagine at least like $500,000.
You buy a couple bitcoins with that, I'm sure.
In 1980 especially.
Oh yeah, that's a good time to get in before they even like invent it.
Get in at the ground.
That's when you get in. But they recreate this scene in a random event in GTA 5.
They do.
Off the side of the highway.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about this.
Super fun.
Right by like Trevor's house, right?
Dude, no, it's on the highway once you leave the main city on the way out to like the boonies.
It's before he goes over some water or something like that, right?
It's right after you come through a tunnel on your seaside. You come through a tunnel. There's this turnoff where you can go off into these desert trails, and that's where like you find the trucks and you find the briefcase, and gang members chase you. It's a good time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Awesome.
Remember seeing it for the first time, being like, "Oh my God, it's No Country for Old Men!" Like, yes, I'm taking the briefcase. Let's go.
GTA 5 is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
it really is. It truly is. There's new events for GTA 5 according to my PlayStation 4.
There always is. Forever.
Javier Bardem is like terrifying in this movie, and he plays it so even-keeled, and that just adds to the terror.
It's also his wacky haircut.
That's exactly the point I was leading to, like his stupid 80s haircut, man. He's got the same haircut as the weird character in F is for Family.
Oh yeah.
It's the exact same haircut as that like weird little boy. Tommy Lee Jones does a fantastic job of playing like the old Texas sheriff. And one thing I never noticed until this most recent watch, the actress who plays Llewellyn's wife is a very similar character to Bruce Willis's significant other in Pulp Fiction, and that she's like full of questions but like just kind of accepts what's happening the whole time. But big props to her for like the confrontation at the end with Javier Bardem's character, and kind of he's got that thing where he has people like flip a coin and she straight up tells him like, no, I'm not, like the coin doesn't decide, you decide, like it's on you. And then he kills her.
He's like, you're right.
You're right. I'm going to go ahead and just do this thing, man. He's a man of his word.
Was Cormac McCarthy like a Batman fan? You know what I mean? Is that just...
I'm sure. I mean...
Because it's just... That's exactly what Two-Face does. Isn't that just kind of weird?
It's just like a nihilist thing, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
I mean, also this like meth head I had to kick out of the store recently did the same thing.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Do you think he was a Batman fan?
I don't know. I just know he didn't land on whatever side of the coin that meant I got to hit him in the face.
Was he Cormac McCarthy?
Dang.
Definitely not.
This is a fantastic pick, guys. I'm so glad you chose it. It's a movie I wanted to pick, but I felt like I knew you guys would have it covered. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't talk about Texas movies without this movie, for sure.
I mean, yeah, it's my vote for most Texas. It's so Texas.
Okay, well, let me give you guys my number one. Although I got to say, yours might be the best. I have to be honest.
Around.
That's a great choice.
No one ever bring it in.
Okay, I have the 1986 Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yes. Staying
Back
true to
in
form.
the habit.
Electric Boogaloo.
brought to you by the people who brought you the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's Tobe Hooper back for more Leatherface, more disgusting, weird family setups and scenes of debauchery.
Images of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, there's so much Dr. Pepper in this movie. Just a few podcasts ago, I think I was saying that I love Dennis Hopper in a villain role. I'll watch any movie with evil Dennis Hopper. In this movie, he is an unhinged good guy, and he plays Lieutenant Enright, who is just the most ridiculous, over-the-top Texas caricature possible. He's got the boots, he's got the buckle. He's wearing a suit, but the suit is made to look like a rodeo outfit. It's so ridiculous.
Man, when's the last time you guys went to a rodeo?
Ages.
Oh, dude.
I mean, I love a rodeo, but I haven't been in years.
20 years? I don't know.
It's been a long time.
That sounds like a decent estimate.
Dang.
You know, it's funny. You mentioned you love seeing Dennis Hopper in a villain role. Does that refer to also King Koopa in Super Mario Bros?
That's what it was specifically referring to. It was in the context of Mario Bros. I love it.
Channel favorite.
Yeah, that's why I love that movie. I just can't get over it.
Fantastic.
But yeah, he basically I think it was his niece or maybe his nephew. They're one of the anonymous teenagers who's murdered in the first movie. So in this movie, he's out to find them, the family, and Leatherface and everyone who's behind it. But as far as slasher movie goes, this movie's incredible. It's got some really great kills in it. There's not a ton of kills, but the ones that are in it are very gruesome and very satisfying. Really good special effects. But why is it the most Texas movie? It's just the love for Texas, the love that's going, throughout the movie, and its set design choices, the writing. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful, and then just to have people getting chainsawed in between it. It's got
what more could you ask for?
It's got that Texas excess. It's got that part as well. So
I gotta ask. I don't think I've watched much of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I must have watched it like once when I was younger. Is it based off a true event?
I mean, yes, in the sense that
loosely.
It's not really.
There's a precursor film, right? It's like the town that never slept. That's a little bit truer to the events of the actual crime, if I'm remembering correctly.
Because this is Ed Gein, right? That's the real Leatherface.
They're adapting.
I think it pulls some influence from the crime that Town That Never Slept is based off of, as well as Ed Gein.
Oh, it's like two things.
Yeah, it's like an amalgamation
because of his love for skin. And
you can't go full Gein. You know what I mean? You're just gonna bum people out.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I don't know a lot about the true story.
Fun fact.
We allegedly got to see the cauldron that he boiled body parts in. And the shovel that
we were there
in the Zag Bagonry.
Yeah, the Bagonry house
in Bagend.
Yes. Man, we've done a lot of puns with that whole experience, but I think you just won.
Oh, thank you. That's so cool. Well, in this movie, he's hunting for him, and there's some convoluted plot that doesn't need to be mentioned. But as far as things that are
just gloss over that really quick.
I mean, there's some parts in here. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but the movie starts off. This is where you know that they mean business about Texas, because it starts off with these two teens in a truck, and they're literally talking trash about Texas. They're talking about how stupid it is, and assumedly they're from Texas. They're the first people to die. It's like the movie tells you right away, disrespect Texas.
Don't.
Leatherface is gonna kill you.
Don't mess with Texas,
or you get the saw.
Yeah, their death is accidentally broadcast, or it's recorded by a disc jockey who's kind of the main character.
Ooh, sounds like their station's gonna get fined.
Yeah, well, she doesn't play it at first, but Dennis Hopper convinces her to put it on the air so that people will believe him that this family is actually out there and they need to be afraid because no one believes him about Leatherface. And then they end up doing it, but oh no, it brings the family to the disc jockey. One of the characters is, and I have his name over here somewhere,
Chester
Bill Mosley.
Copperpot.
No, not Chester Copperpot. Bill Mosley plays Chop Top, who's Leatherface's brother. And Bill Moseley is in The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
What's this guy?
He's like he's in all of those Rob Zombie movies. What's his name? Noah Moses? What is his name?
I can't remember his name in that movie.
Honorable mention, Devil's Rejects.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
That's also a Texas movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually the reason why he's in there. You know, Rob Zombie picked all the old, like, B-movie stars. Like, you have Ken Faree in those movies, too.
And
from Dawn of the Dead.
A little bit, like, as far as casting goes, like, the opportunity to show off his wife's boobies.
Yes.
Otis Driftwood.
Otis Driftwood.
That's who he plays.
Oh, that's the name of the character.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
I started throwing too many names around. But yeah, Bill Moseley plays Chop Top. He's got this like metal plate in his head and is just completely insane. Totally insane. It's really, really fun characters, really over the top stuff. And as far as, okay, here we go. I finally have, we need to get into the other direct Texas things. We have some ZZ Top shirts.
Oh gosh.
The name of the radio station is Red River Rock and Roll. There's Texas bumper stickers on almost every car in the movie. We have a Dallas Cowboys game, although it's not explicitly said that it's the Cowboys, but it's hinted that there's a game in Dallas. I guess it could be the Mavericks. I don't know, but
What's the hockey team? The Stars?
Yeah, it could be the Stars. It's a plot device, and that's why there's like all these out-of-town people in here right now. A few of them, oh no, we're going to disappear.
That's the game of Dallas.
But it's that's the real game of Dallas. There's a scene in a bar. Everyone's drinking Shiner. There's a chili cook-off, which is won by, you know, human meat, which is hilarious. Because, you know, people had to be asking like, well, geez, Earl, where'd you get that? That was delicious chili. What kind of meat are you using in there? It's like, ugh. Your missing cousin. That's who. There's stacks of Dr. Peppers. And there's some great lines too. There's a line about property taxes screwing everything up. I was like, okay, that's about as Texas as you can get. We got plenty of darlings, some raisin hells. We have some ain't got no's, like we ain't got no blankety blank blank.
Ain't got no's.
And my favorite, there's a line in this movie that's burn my beans bad on that one.
Whew.
Never heard that before,
heard that.
But beautiful, and I felt, yes, this says Texas to me. The ending has to be seen to be believed. It's so over the top and insane. If you want something silly and Texas, TCM2,
That's
everyone.
perfect.
That's my choice.
Solid pick, David.
Thank you.
Solid pick. Well, I mean, that's going to bring an end to this first segment here.
Yeah, I guess that's... you know what?
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Who else has some? Because I know I got a couple.
I have one. I'll throw mine out. I actually watched it today. The Alamo. Another 2004 movie, also with Billy Bob Thornton, which is weird.
That's not the Alamo I chose.
Oh, you chose the John Wayne one.
1960s, baby.
Wow.
That one's really good too.
Dude,
You know,
3 hours and 22 minutes long, and I can't even count how many times I watched that movie as a kid.
I remember liking the 2004 one more. And when I watched it today, I was like, you know what, this is all right.
Was it all right? All right? All right?
I don't think I can give it 3. I don't think I can give it the 3, guys.
It's got one all right.
Yeah, at least one. There's just some parts that are too cheesy. Like Billy Bob Thornton climbing up on the wall of the Alamo and like playing violin for the Mexican army. It's like, let's relax.
And you know what? That's what I really like about the 1960s one is you get a lot of cheese, but it's that Western cheese that you expect from a Western movie. Mm-hmm. And I was already so diehard, like in love with this movie that when I saw the Billy Bob Thornton one when it came out, I was like, bah. I'm going to go sit down and spend another 3 hours and 22 minutes watching old Marion here defend the Alamo.
Jeez, 3 hours and 22 minutes.
That's long, man. The 2004 Alamo is 2 hours and 17 minutes.
It was one of those movies that when you rented it, you got the 2 VHS pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. The 2004 one, it does feel its length too. It's like right when you finish up, when the actual Battle of the Alamo ends, they tag on that whole thing with Sam Houston, who's played by Dennis Quaid, who's like, I don't really care about this guy. They show Dennis Quaid at the beginning of the movie, and then you spin the movie with like Jason Patric, the older brother from Lost Boys, and Night Owl. Baby Night Owl's in this one. He's still in the nest.
Damn, does he cook anybody breakfast or like fix their car?
No, he's William B. Travis. He's the Colonel, man.
Oh.
He's got a big role in this movie. It's kind of crazy. I forgot how big it is. He does a great performance too, but it's a little hammy. Also, the guy from the Patriots in this movie.
Which one?
The one whose little redhead son
Mel
dies.
Gibson?
The real crazy looking one.
Oh, the guy from Grounded for Life?
Yeah. No, not Grounded for Life guy. He's older and he looks very drunk. He's like good friends.
Oh yeah,
Good friends
he's
with Mel
kind of got
Gibson.
like pock marks on his face,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I know which guy you're talking
And
about.
he comes home and his wife and son have been killed, and he's like, oh.
He has the gladiator moment.
Of course, I guess there's a few times that happens in the movies, not just that one character.
No, my family. Another notable mention, honorable mention.
Oh
for
yeah,
me
yeah.
Would be I don't know if y'all have seen it. It's called Nocturnal Animals. You
I
ever
haven't
it?
seen this.
No,
movie.
you know what? I haven't seen that either.
2016.
I have seen
movie.
nocturnal animals at the nocturnal exhibit at the El Paso Zoo, however.
That is dark. Mm-hmm. It smells like bat poo.
It does smell like bat poop.
Yeah.
Guano. Nocturnal Animals. It's by Tom Ford, and it's pretty heavy drama and pretty artsy, but really good. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal and Amy Adams, and gosh, I can't remember who else, but really good. It's like a dramatization of like a guy writing a novel, and like you get to see it kind of come to life as it happens. Also set in Texas. There's a whole lot of crazy crimes and depraved stuff happening. So real good.
And you know what? Ford is the best in Texas.
Wow.
That's
Excellent
what I
point.
like about Texas. Another honorable mention, which I'm sure we all will mention, is Bernie.
I was not going to mention
Oh.
it, but I'm glad you did.
2011's
You know,
Bernie.
I haven't seen this movie.
Oh,
I've
that's
always
another
meant
one
to,
you
but I
should.
just
Definitely. What a weird
never got
movie.
around to it.
A good weird movie.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Like,
That's my favorite kind of movie.
you got Jack Black, Matthew McConaughey, and Shirley MacLaine. And this is a quote-unquote serious role for Jack Black.
Yeah.
He almost won some award for it, too. I don't know if it was an Oscar or like something else. I don't know. But, yeah.
Bernie, much like No Country for Old Men, is a perfect example of like biting off more than you can chew. You know what I mean? It's like getting in way over your head.
It's definitely misleading from like any promotional materials you see for it. You think it's going to be like a comedy, but like you watch it and you're like, oh, this is kind of weird.
You know, it's a good example of a movie that wasn't promoted very well. I think the name is kind of ambiguous. The poster's kind of ambiguous.
You would think it's like a Bernie autobiography or something. You know?
Who knows? Yeah. Did anyone have Dazed and Confused on their honorable mentions?
I did not. I do have one more honorable mention, and one I just thought of actually. So the one that I had previously planned besides the Alamo was The Big Green, the 1995 film about a small Texas community where their school gets an exchange teacher from Britain and teaches these Texas kids how to play soccer, which is this silly, delightful family movie featuring one Steve Guttenberg and Patrick Renna, who plays Hamilton Ham Porter in The Sandlot.
Hey.
Yeah, that's right.
That's just a good time, man. And then the other one I just thought of right now is Happy Texas, which is kind of like a reverse Birdcage, where these two guys end up stranded in this town. They're like grifters, and they have to pretend to like be a gay couple to like pull a fast one over these town folks, and they end up change of heart, the whole thing.
Becoming gay.
Yeah. On those lines,
with you.
I'll also nominate Dallas Buyers Club. I don't know if you guys have seen Dallas Buyers Club.
I haven't seen Dallas Buyers Club.
I also haven't seen it.
I mean, it seems like it would be Academy Award bait, but it's actually a really, really good movie. It's probably the best movie other than Fight Club that I've seen Jared Leto in.
Sometimes Academy Award bait ends up being pretty good.
You haven't seen Requiem for a Dream, though,
Yes, I
have you?
have.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I also love Requiem for a Dream.
Who hasn't seen that?
I
It's
haven't
you.
seen Requiem of a
Dude,
Dream.
Requiem for a
you would
Dream.
love that movie.
Yeah, you would.
I feel like we should just do an Aronofsky movie ranking soon, man.
He has
That
like
sounds hefty.
Directed.
he has like 12 or 13 though.
Directed.
Yeah,
And
I think
written.
so. Ooh, written in. Okay, we'll
I
talk.
think that narrows it down to like 6.
We'll talk. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds heavy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sounds like some heavy lifting.
yeah. Keep your pie notes. Shoot. Okay, where were we at? Or-
Well, I mean, that's
yeah,
it.
is that all of them?
That's
I
it.
think that would kick us over to
No theme song, character limit.
Extended.
All right, that's gonna be the clunkiest one so far.
It's gonna have an echo on XXX.
I was like, are you coming in, Frank? Or are we doing it together?
Nah, you're the MC, dude.
Oh, that's a great point. That's a great point. Okay, I was just trying to get my bearings still. I was like, is there another Texas movie?
Trying to get your bearings, a very Texas thing.
Although, well, shoot, no, there's no turning back now. We can make it clunkier. All right.
We could.
Character Living Extended, the segment where we talk a little bit about a movie that we just, said a little bit about just a few days ago.
Clunkier it is.
Yeah. Continue.
Never give up, David. We could always do better.
I like it.
We talk a little bit more about the movie we talked a little bit about.
Just a week ago. Or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah. It feels like there should be one more just a little while ago.
It's in the notes. We'll check it out afterwards.
Okay. We still have to woodshed a little bit. No. It's just me. The problem is me. Anyway.
A little bit more about the film we talked a little bit about just a week ago.
Just a week ago. There it is. So speaking of Aronofsky, our CLE this last week was Pi for Pi Day, which is March 14th, in case you don't know. So yeah, I mean, none of us has seen this one before.
No, I've just like seen parts of it because I did hang out with film school people. Yeah, we talked about it all the time.
Very film school. Yeah, film schooly.
Yeah,
I could see this.
This is a very art house movie. I enjoyed it, but it was definitely a bit of an effort to get through in my personal amount. I think right when you find out like the Jewish people have been like kind of watching over Mr. Cohen and how he's doing things, and it just gets all crazy. I think that's the part where I was like kind of tuning out a little bit.
Yeah, at that point in the movie, you kind of come over the top of the roller coaster, you know what I mean? And then it's just loop-de-loops and spinny things. And
I was okay there. For me, it was a little bit earlier. It was when in Pi, like after his computer breaks the first time, or he breaks it himself, then it just kind of floats around for a bit. Like he kind of inadvertently gets what he needs without really like looking for it. It just kind of falls in his lap. It was kind of in there that I was dozing off just a little bit. I was like, oh, no, hang on.
Yeah.
Let's back this up a little bit. Okay, what's going on here? It felt his pacing's not quite right yet. But it just feels like someone's first attempt.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I think
it's super really dialogue heavy, right? Very exposition heavy.
Yeah.
Very dialogue heavy. You're right, though. I mean, it's definitely a rough cut of Aronofsky.
There's a strong similarity between Christopher Nolan's first movie, The Following, which is also in black and white by choice, which is a really fun movie with a really fun premise. But it's all just told through a lot of writing, I guess, because they probably didn't have a lot of money. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the story needs to be told through dialogue.
Gotta get creative.
Yeah, it's like watching a play or something, which it's fun, but a little
exposition,
a little slow. Yeah, a little slow in parts. And the ending, what did you guys think about the ending? What's your opinions here?
It was abrupt, but I honestly liked the ending. You know what I mean? He decided to the whole thing is about the balance between chaos and order, and he finally accepts at the end like everything can't be perfectly ordered, and he finally accepts that. I really liked it. Plus, he's not like shooing this like little girl away anymore. It kind of made me sad when he was like giving her the cold shoulder.
It kind of gives him a new outlook on life after lobotomizing himself.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to lobotomize yourself to really enjoy life.
And this is going to be spoiler alerts. Just maybe skip ahead a couple minutes or something. But in the end of the movie, he is he really lobotomized, or is he dead? Is this like a taxi driver scenario? You know what I mean?
No, you don't know.
I hadn't even considered that he was dead.
Yeah.
They don't really, it's not clear. But don't know if anyone would be able to really survive a drill bit going into your temple.
Yeah, it just seems like...
people have survived crazier things.
That's true.
Yeah, like people have walked into the hospital like on their own like power with like impaled objects through their skulls.
Yeah.
Phineas Gage.
Yep.
So... I don't know, possible, but just. I
thought it was an okay ending. Yeah, I thought it was cool how he just kind of like gave up the thought of controlling everything.
One other weird thing, the music is so Matrix. I was just talking to Danny about it. Very Matrix, but it's like a year before the Matrix.
It's the music reminded me of the anti-piracy commercials, like you wouldn't steal a car.
And then the whole title sequence is kind of like it too.
What started that? What was the original,
Firestarter.
Is it, man?
I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I mean, you're right though. Like the Matrix is really what pulls that through.
I always thought it was the Matrix that was like the trendsetter there.
Maybe it was Aronofsky.
Chronologically, is probably this.
Maybe the Wachowskis were like, "Hey, I like this movie a lot.
I like pie.
It'd be real nice if I."
Well, I mean, they are very similar. He's got like that computer that's simulating reality. And all
this is a great movie pairing because they're not exactly the same, but they're like there's some really common themes in there together.
Definitely.
And they're both like lighting visually wise, both very like high contrast movies.
I gotta say, I did not love the look of this movie.
I mean, it's super rough.
It's grainy. And like we were saying, you're right. The high contrast. There's too many shadows. You can't really tell what's going on.
It's like the bunny ears aren't quite right on your television. You know what I mean?
There's one scene towards the end where our protagonist is being chased at night, and he's going through those wooden support things in New York that they put over the sidewalks when there's construction. Impossible to see anything in that scene. Completely impossible. Mm-hmm. But you still feel it, I guess. So it's not a total loss. It's just I felt like it felt tiring on my eyes. Mm-hmm. It felt like. Man, I'm doing more work here watching this right now.
Yeah, not a movie to watch like in a dark room, like with the lights off, you know what I mean?
You got to pay attention to it too.
Yeah, this is a heavier watch. Another movie that kind of felt similar, and I forgot the name again. What is the time travel movie?
Oh, Primer.
That's
what you're talking about.
Especially the way that the dialogue is set and kind of the heaviness of it, but it's very authentic. It doesn't feel unnecessary. It's just wordy.
And I know that's not what we're here to do, but I'd rank Primer higher than Pie for me on this list for sure.
Easily. Oh, I would for sure, yeah.
For sure. It's, I mean, the movies it reminded me of was like Primer, Safety Not Guaranteed, and
that's a good
The Number 23 too. Even the Butterfly Effect. Let's throw that in there. You know what I mean?
I just watched Butterfly Effect. I understood that reference.
Which should be noted. That director's cut is way different than the theatrical.
Better? Did you say better?
Did we talk about this last podcast? I thought we did.
Have you seen the director's cut?
Should we
get into this really quick? Just extra character limit.
You know what? I feel like let's plug it in our next CLE. That
let's do it.
That we're missing something.
There we go. That's how we'll do that. Coming to you soon.
2000s nostalgia all the time. It's our specialty. You got to experience it, Danny.
Is Prodigy in the Butterfly Effect? I can't remember.
It might be, actually.
Or the Crystal Method.
No, it's not a very like high-paced soundtrack at all.
Nice.
I thought at the beginning there was one, like right at the beginning of the movie, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think that's just like being in college in the early 2000s.
Yeah, fair enough.
Techno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's electro, you twat.
So, anything else about good old Pie?
I mean, definitely worth a watch, especially if you're trying to comb through the Aronofsky catalog. You should start there.
I'm honestly looking forward to like a rewatch at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I could see myself rewatching it, trying to understand it better.
Mm-hmm. Lots to think about there.
I didn't learn any math.
Nope. I didn't have any pie.
Not very educational. I actually did have a slice of pecan pie on Pie Day because
were you watching Pie?
I'm jealous.
No, I had already watched it.
Yeah, we put it out.
Too soon for the rewatch.
He watched Life of Pie.
I did watch the Character Limit Exceeded episode though.
There we go. All right, well that kicks it on over to. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, how interesting. How delightful. I have the story today. I am the story master.
Take it away.
The page master, if you will. Well, tab, I guess, because I'm on my phone here.
The page master is a good old romp.
That is good.
So we're big horror fans on this channel. I think that's been pretty evident from the different horror things that we've done and how much we gush over them.
Don't speak for me, but also I agree.
I will speak for you. Hello, I'm David Pena. My address is... Amityville Horror, a movie based on true events, whether how true to life they are compared to the movie is up for debate or wondering. But the real life killer, Ronald DeFeo Jr., had a parole hearing coming up in July, but he's not going to make it because he died at age 69, dude.
Nice. Went out like a legend.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
You got to put up those sick numbers.
If he'd only made it to 420. Dang it.
420 years old.
No. If only he died on April 20th at 69 years old.
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would have been pretty
bad.
cool. He would have gotten a lot of internet points for that one for sure.
Oh, yeah.
He would have got to the gates and like St. Peter would have just given him one like, dude, nice.
So DeFeo was serving a 25 to life sentence after being convicted of murdering his family, which is a big no-no. People don't like it when you do that.
Unless you're in Texas.
That's bad.
No, still in Texas. They'll still throw you in jail for a long time. I mean, they'll throw you in jail for a long time for murdering one person. You know what I mean? We'll try to kill you if the state lets us. He was facing another parole hearing this summer. They haven't revealed the cause of death yet because this is super fresh. They still got to do an autopsy or anything. But that begs the bigger question: when his physical body died, did that release the evil spirits that were within? Are they floating out there now? Who's next? Who's next? Hopefully not me.
Ryan Reynolds.
No, don't say that.
Yeah, don't put that evil on
There
Ryan
needs to be
Reynolds,
Detective Pikachu too.
For those of you unfamiliar, the killings occurred in 1975. This is the original murder that haunts the house that leads to the haunting that the Lutz family then experiences after moving into the house where said murder occurred.
Okay.
What a delightful movie.
Famous Ed Warren case, too. This is a Warren family thing.
True.
And I'm pretty sure we've talked about the Amityville Horror on a previous episode at some point.
I think it was briefly when we were doing the Warren movies. What are they called?
Yeah, The Conjuring.
When we did the Conjurings.
The Conjurnings.
Yeah, this is one of their famous cases. It's also a really disputed case.
Highly disputed.
Highly
suspicious.
Boom. Have you guys seen, which one have you seen?
I've seen
both.
I've seen the original.
Which is funny because weird connection. That's Josh Brolin's dad. What's his name?
Joshua
James
Brolin.
James Brolin. Yeah, he's the guy. Yeah.
A lot of Brolin today. We're rolling and Brolin.
Rolling.
Have you seen the Ryan Reynolds one though?
Yeah, it was trash.
The movie's so silly,
so bad.
But I love angry Ryan Reynolds.
Evil Ryan
really cracks me up.
Yeah, it's super strange.
Oh,
how weird.
But yeah, I just thought that was a fun little tidbit. I guess we talked about a lot of murder today, so we're staying on theme here.
Another interesting thing that happened this week is I found out that David doesn't use top sheets.
Oh yeah, no.
He's only comforter and fitted sheets on his bed.
Yeah.
Only the fit sheet and only comforter.
That's funny. I remember kind of seeing that conversation offhandedly when I was at work the other day in the group chat, and I was like, "What's a top sheet? Is this like a letter thing?" And I wasn't even sure, but I use a top sheet.
Okay.
It came in the pack of sheets,
which way is this going?
so I put it on the bed. Now
keep us guessing.
Now I finally understand what that conversation was about.
I mean, yeah, you can do
devastating reveal.
I winter. I do obviously I always do fitted sheet. Then I do the top sheet, and then I do a quilt, and then you put the comforter bad boy on.
I mean, my top sheet's on the bed. I've never actually covered myself in it. It just, like I said, came in the pack with the rest of the sheets, goes on the bed.
I'm not going to just throw it away.
What else am I going to do with it?
This is going to sound crazy, but most of the time, I can't even be under the blanket.
You're just too hot?
I'll just sleep on the bed. Nothing. You know what I mean?
See, I go...
like a video game character, just laying down on a space.
I go to bed a hot boy, but I wake up a cold man.
I kind of like it,
No, I
can't do it.
If we're talking about sleep habits, I actually will bundle myself real tight, I cocoon myself.
Like a snug bug.
Oh God, yeah, love it. Got a nice weighted
beautiful
blanket.
Conversation we've gotten into here.
Welcome to the Sleepcast.
Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting.
Okay, I'm going to save us here. All right, that was very interesting, Frank. Thank you for your information about.
Thank you for listening,
Amityville. And that takes us to our final segment. It's Peeps and Predicts, the only internet segment with arguing in it.
And Bill Shatner as the winner.
Yeah, and with Bill
Arguably.
Shatner.
Oh, yes. Let's go ahead and top this segment off with apologies to our fans, because we know you come here for hard-hitting information and reporting integrity, but sometimes we confuse ourselves with the way we write questions for ourselves. It's really nobody's fault but us.
Yeah,
But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger is not the reigning champ. It is still Will Shatner.
This is like the sixth
Will
one we've
I.
done.
Shatner.
Like
The Shat.
It's a problem.
The sixth time we've like messed this up. It's just sad.
Oh, yeah.
We really need to get it together. I'm sorry.
Who's keeping track? Just the
Not
internet.
us. Anyway, so yeah, we have we're gonna pick two people, real or fictional. They can also be groups of people, and we're gonna argue about hypothetical situations. Here we go.
I jumped the gun and I'm grabbing a predict here.
Oh, Danny,
Somebody
why don't
wanna
you get the
pull our
peeps?
first our pair of peeps?
Let's do it.
Who do we have for today's conversation? Who could it be now?
Knocking at my door.
Oh, wait.
Look, I'm in here no more. Let's see. For our two first peeps, we have gross Woody Allen versus Kevin Spacey, and in parentheses it says pedos.
Battle of the pedophiles.
Wow.
I'm not going to throw a delay on that one. That one stays dry.
I was gonna say that. Wow, this is in poor taste. I mean, this is before the Woody Allen thing, and I was thinking, I
wow.
was like, no, but it still has been in poor taste even before that.
Yeah.
He's always been in poor taste.
How beautiful. Okay, and Frank, why don't you give us what's the first situation?
This is going to be a bit of a doozy, boys. Who is more likely to successfully change the hierarchy of a society?
Wow.
Whew. Both are very hierarchical men. However, one still has power.
Guys, I would like to go out on a limb here and say we throw these peeps in the trash.
Ooh,
You know what? Yeah,
interesting.
no need to glorify these pedos or speak about them.
Yeah, I really
as
just
much.
don't want to talk about them if that's cool.
All right, go to hell.
I like I had just finished watching like the third episode of like the HBO series,
The Woody
and
Allen
I was
one?
like,
you
man,
watch
thank
the
God
ending?
that's over. And then the fourth episode
Oh,
just came out, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can keep doing this, man. This is pretty
Oh,
rough.
you got to wrap it up.
God.
I haven't seen the
You
fourth
didn't watch
one
it
yet.
yet? Okay, I
haven't
watched
seen
it. Oh man. Anyways,
Wow, what a classy move, everyone.
Yeah.
I like it. We're about integrity.
We're about not pedophiling.
Not-
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Frank wrote that one.
Definitely not.
That's not my handwriting.
It's legible, so it's not my handwriting.
This is a better one.
Okay.
Tommy Lee Jones versus Tommy Lee.
Yes. Much
Okay, this is way better.
Whose
This
handwriting is
way better.
this?
Let me see that one.
That was
This is
Frank.
very legible. Is that you?
That one's Frank.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was definitely Frank.
I like it.
All right, so out of Tommy Lee Jones and Tommy Lee, who is more likely to successfully change the hierarchy of a society?
Now, the hierarchy of a society, are we talking about like the general foundation of it, like how it functions, or like,
Maybe, yeah.
you know,
I was assuming more
Maybe
of like
just the order slightly.
like a class, like
a caste
system. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
who is more likely to shake things up a
Yeah,
bit? Is
a
that what you're
great
talking about?
mover of social change.
I would just go like just jumping in here. The more influential person, and to me, is
Tommy
gonna
Lee
be Tommy Lee
Jones.
Jones.
All right, Tommy Lee Jones. I agree. Obviously,
Yeah, this is.
Tommy Lee has made a couple of albums and one great movie. And
No one's going to listen to Tommy Lee.
One great movie, which we will not be CLEing on the channel.
Oh, wow. It's a lot
Although I'm sure we'd get some pretty good Hemingways out of there.
that's a lot of blurs.
oh man, so are we good with Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah, let's move on to the next one. Here it is. I've been playing with it in my hands. Let's see here. We're opening it up. Who has the better boot scoop boogie?
Yes, may it rain Frank suggestions
Here we go.
forever and ever.
Come on, baby, let's go. Boot scoop.
Well, we know Tommy Lee has rhythm as he is a drummer.
he's also from the country.
He's also from the country, but Tommy Lee Jones
Oh, no, I'm talking
is
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones is a bona fide Texan.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know what movie it is. There's a movie where you see Tommy Lee Jones dance.
Oh yeah.
He's also
scoot a boogie.
He's also
Can
an
he?
old white dude who's not the old white dudes. For those unfamiliar with old white dudes, aren't great dancers. Like just speaking broadly here, but where they shine, the good old boot scoot boogie.
Boot scoot boogie.
true.
He also is from the country down past the city limit line, where there is a honky tonk.
Okay, that's a good point. I think Tommy Lee probably is a better dancer, but I don't know if he would hit it with the same confidence. I think that plays a lot into this.
Yeah, he would be
I
like,
don't know if
what
Tommy
is
Lee would
happening
know
here?
how to hit a boogie.
Well,
Like,
let's just assume that they both have the time to,
to learn.
to present a boot scoot a boogie.
I would imagine even that Tommy Lee would be like, no, this would be like harmful to my image. I am in his own mind.
Do you
He's
think
like,
he
I am
says that
too
often
cool.
when going through ideas? He says that a lot of times. Wait, this one might hurt my image.
Probably not. It's something more like, all right.
Okay, I'm on your guys' side.
TLJ.
On the
Yeah.
side of Tommy Lee Jones.
That means he's going on to Tommy Lee Jones versus Bill Shatner.
Bill Shatner.
Bill.
Bill Shat, the sci-fi guy.
Okay.
He's the sci-fi guy.
Let me grab one more of these here's. All right. Oh no. There's too many. Okay.
Heel, toe, do-si, do.
In the championship round, who's more likely to fake having stomach cancer to get pity?
This is mine.
All right. Will Shatner.
Easily. If there's anyone that's even close to being the real Royal Tenenbaum, it's definitely Bill
Yeah.
Shatner.
William Shatner loves attention.
Yeah, just to put this into context, this is one that entered the jar during Royal Tenenbaums. That's where the reference is here. Tommy Lee Jones seems too legit,
Too honest.
too honest.
Yeah.
Too Texas.
Texas gentlemen don't lie about having stomach
don't.
cancer.
I mean, that was easy.
This is an easy one.
Dad, this might be one of the easiest, aside from Arnold Schwarzenegger versus a reindeer.
Yeah.
Might be one of the easiest.
Or the countless
Piece of the
Batman
dicks.
episodes.
God.
Let's just get going.
I don't know if I described those as easy. They were pretty hard for me to get through.
Okay, well, Tommy Lee Jones is the new champ.
That's
Love it.
a much more respectable champion.
Yeah. Delightful. All right, well, anything else you gentlemen want to toss in here? We're at the end of another episode.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're listening on whatever podcast app you like, check out the YouTube videos. We also have a short form segment, Character Limit Exceeded, which is plugged earlier in our segment, Character Limit
Extended.
Yeah. Check out Phantom Kin on the music apps.
It'll help you do the boot, scoot, and boogie.
Yeah. We definitely do. We specifically only do Boot Scoot Boogie covers.
That's the only song we have up on our Spotify.
We're just a bunch of honky tonkin' fools.